Hi, I'm Michelle Shepard, owner of West Coast Nutrition and registered dietitian. And today we're talking, can you lose weight and still drink alcohol? So you guys know that wine is one of my favorite treats. And like a lot of my clients, you might enjoy beer or wine or a whiskey sour once in a while and feel like it's really hard to lose weight. And maybe you just need to cut it out or do Sober October. So let's talk through how alcohol does impact fat loss, why you might not want to cut it out completely if you're hoping to keep the weight off, and how to get around the negative benefits it may have and make sure you're still getting results even if you're choosing to enjoy these things. So first and foremost, alcohol does have some downsides when it comes to fat loss. And one of them is just that it costs some of your budget. So if we look at the amount of calories we burn in a day, for weight loss, we do need a calorie deficit, and we want to take it slow and steady and sustainable. So we want a small calorie deficit, but we do need one in order to lose fat. So there needs to be a difference between what you are eating and what you are burning in order to break into the storage locker to burn fat for energy. Alcohol is often something we don't count as it. So when I drink of wine, I'm not full. I don't necessarily feel like I've just had 125 calories. For something like just a 12-ounce beer of the lighter variety, that's about 150, 200 for a higher alcohol percentage beer, so something a little stronger. If you are more of a hard alcohol person, so something with like an ounce and a half of vodka or whiskey on the rocks, you're looking again at about 100 calories, per ounce and a half. And the sort of lighter, like hard seltzers, White Claws, things like that tend to cost you around 100. Now, in and of itself, that's not a huge amount. But if you're doing this, 3 or 4 days a week, or if you're having like a wine with dinner or a brandy after dinner, a lot of those nights, you might be losing almost 900 calories a week or more without noticing it because it's not filling, right? And we often enjoy alcohol without savoring it, right? So it's sometimes social, sometimes a thing to do, sometimes we're using it as stress relief, but we just kind of drink it without noticing all of that extra food. And for some of you, that's almost half a day's calories just gone, not in any particular noticeable treat. So the biggest reason I see alcohol become troublesome for fat loss is just that it kind of sneaks in and we don't really count it as a treat. The other things that are going to be really important is that alcohol does affect your metabolism in two ways. So the first thing is that your body is going to be driven to get rid of alcohol when you have it. So it's going to burn alcohol for energy, and alcohol is more calories per gram than protein or carbohydrates, and just a little bit less than fats, but it's pretty calorie dense. And so when you have alcohol on board, your ability to use fat for energy goes down for anywhere from 12 to 48 hours after, because your body's busy burning that alcohol to get rid of it out of your body. And so even if you have a deficit, you might not be utilizing fat for energy very effectively. So you're going to slow down your actual fat burning, and that's going to slow your weight loss. The second part of the metabolism piece is that often if we're substituting alcohol for other calories, our protein intake goes down, our fiber intake goes down, and our micronutrients, all those anti-inflammatory vitamins and minerals and antioxidants, goes down. So if you're eating really light for a few days because you have a bunch of drinks on the weekend, you're going to be losing muscle in order to make room for the alcohol. And the problem with that is that muscle is our most calorie burning, most metabolically active tissue. So if we're seeing slow muscle loss over a longer period, especially things like summer or the holidays, where you might be trying to budget for the alcohol but missing out on really key nutrients, you are going to find it harder and harder to lose weight, and you're going to make yourself susceptible to rebound weight gains that regain because you're burning less calories than you were. And we can only eat so little food and still feel happy and healthy. So it impacts you both by blocking fat oxidation, so you're going to prioritize alcohol as fuel, and also it makes you more prone to muscle loss, particularly if you are budgeting for it in a way that cuts down your protein, your fiber, or your plant foods. Now, the other two pieces are important but a little bit smaller. So one is that even a single drink, as we all know, lowers impulse control. And I think we've all been there where you have a drink or two or three, and suddenly you're making a charcuterie plate at 11 p.m., or you go through a drive-through on the way home, even though you're not really hungry. That's a really common effect of alcohol. We've all done other things that have nothing to do with food, but it's important to know yourself. So if this is something that comes up for you, you might want to decide to drink on fewer days so you can make sure you're making healthier choices. You might want to make sure you have something healthier or lower cal at home so you can go to that option instead of grabbing something really energy dense while you're out and about. And making sure you're not also physically hungry before you go out drinking is going to help with that a little bit too. But know yourself there and manage the number of days you're choosing that really thoughtfully. And the last part is the inflammatory piece of alcohol. Now, and remembering I eat and drink all the things, alcohol is inflammatory, particularly at the gut level. And what happens is when it irritates those tissues, what we have is inflammatory response. And inflammatory response is a stress response. So your body's going to slow your metabolic rate if this is a chronic intake, so if you're taking alcohol every day, or if you have pre-existing gut issues, this is going to worsen them. And that's going to drive that survival mechanism where we burn less calories, we store fat more easily. And so, particularly if you've got issues, you might want to limit alcohol a little bit more during fat loss just because you're going to be more sensitive to those effects. Now, what do you do if, like me, you love wine but also want to feel good in your body? Now, I've got a few strategies here. So, what I want you to do is pick one or two, try them out for the next 3 or 4 weeks, and then layer stuff on top if you want to and you feel ready. So the very first one is to keep drinking to 2 or 3 days per week during active weight loss. If you're happy and healthy with your weight, you can probably do more and count it as a treat. All of my clients plan their treats. And so make sure you're going, yeah, I always have drinks on the bachelorette night or when I watch the game with the guys. Know that that's going to be part of it and plan your other meals and treats accordingly. You also want to drink plenty of fluids, have lots of protein and plant foods and fiber on days you're drinking and the day after to offset that inflammatory response, to soothe the gut, to make sure we are prioritizing getting that metabolism back on track as soon as possible. And generally, my advice is actually when it comes to alcohol, just choose what you love. I'm going to be much more satisfied with a couple glasses of a really amazing red. I've been loving one from Township 7 lately. Than like the 4 or 5 glasses of a really like light, not flavorful one that I'm not really enjoying. So what will satisfy you? What will you enjoy and feel really good? Choose that because you'll likely need less of it to get to satisfaction. The only exception to this is if you know you're going to be volume drinking, if there is a concert, if you are camping, whatever the reason is, those days or weekends, it probably is wise to choose a lower calorie something. So like some of the 100-calorie like seltzers or nudes or neutrals, because if you're having 5, 6, 7, 8 drinks, 25 extra calories times 6 to 8 drinks is still 300 calories that you're saving over that day. And that's a big chunk of your day. So it is worthwhile on volume days to go a little bit lighter. So choose something lower cal. But if it is just a few drinks on a Friday night, choose what you love so that the craving goes away and you can savor it. And you get that nice dopamine bump, which makes you feel good, which is going to help you lower cravings overall, food and otherwise. And the last two things are about what to do when it comes up and you don't want to drink. So it's not one of your treat nights. One of them is have backup, bubbly waters. I'll often get like a club soda with lime, if I'm at a bar and just want something to hold. The nice part about this is it keeps you hydrated. It gives something for your hands and your mouth to do while you're hanging out with friends or socializing, or especially at work events where you might get some pushback from pushy friends about why you're not drinking. So having something low-cal, refreshing, non-alcoholic really helps. And I also find it slows me down if I am drinking to alternate just a nice bubbly beverage with an actual drink. And the second part here is really important. So I want you to get used to saying, no, I'm good when someone offers you a drink instead of, oh, no, I can't, I'm trying to lose weight. And the reason this is so important is when you say the second one, it opens you up to other people's opinions and other people's pressure. So when you say the second, people go, but you're beautiful as you are, and you're losing weight, or you've been so good, or we went for that hike. And all of those things are true. You are perfectly wonderful the way you are. But if weight loss and health are important to you, you still need to make that decision, and you do not need to explain it to anyone else. So getting into the habit of not explaining your boundary or your choice is a really good habit. And I'm going to stereotype a little bit here, but my women are particularly challenged by this. So we need to get used to saying, no, I'm good, thanks, I don't need one, covering your glass if you don't want a refill, just having really clear boundaries around what works for your body, because you get to choose when you enjoy and when it's just not that night for you. I hope this was helpful. Remember, alcohol can be part of weight loss, but you get to choose how much of a role it plays, whether it's a worthwhile treat or there's other things you'd like to enjoy, and how much of it really feels good for you and for your body. We all have a different threshold and different budget to work with. I would love to hear if you have any more questions about this topic so I can answer it in a future email. And I hope you're having a fantastic, happy, and healthy week.